Rising. Welcome here to Soul Passages Astrology. I am your astrologer, Georgia Dempsey, and I'm thrilled that you stopped by for your March 23rd eclipse report. We've got 2 eclipses this month, and these events really shake up our lives considerably. So if you haven't already had a chance to watch my March 8th one, please do so. This is kind of the segue or follow-up to that, and it's regarding the March 23rd eclipse. So during this second eclipse, Libra Rising, I want you to share what you think with the other important people in your life. This is key for you because Saturn is now housed in your communications sector. And for you, it looks like a cowboy could possibly saunter into your life. I say this because your Sun and Mercury, both in Aries, are now saddled up in your 7th house of partnerships. So in comes Mr. Rough and Tumble, and he is not afraid to say what's on his mind. The question is, can you be bold enough to share what's on yours as well? Now with Saturn in the 3rd house, you could also be holding yourself back from saying your piece in order to keep harmony in your relationships. And yet, you desire to have your needs met too. The full Libra moon is now shining a really bright light into your 1st house, which is all about the house of self. So your emotional sensors are bucking like a bronco. So rather than have a lunar eruption during the eclipse, why not broach difficult subjects carefully in advance so you can discuss issues you've been keeping tight reins on? If you have been learning the lessons of Saturn the hard way, you could be paying right now for gossip you've shared regarding a male partner or someone at work. This too could cause a lunar eruption. It is not unheard of during eclipse season for people to saunter out of our lives. So do be careful regarding the information you share within your network, and that includes siblings, neighbors, and blood relatives. Another way this Saturn in Sagittarius could manifest for some of you is feeling restricted when it comes to learning new information. Some of you may be struggling with what you're doing for work, and that 3rd house Saturn either has you up here to your eyebrows deep in books or feeling blocked regarding learning new skills. If you are working your way through an illness or a speech impediment and are feeling frustrated, hold steady. You can master what you need to learn, but you're going to need to be patient with yourself, so don't give up trying. The message of this Saturn, which is forming a near close T-square to your 6th and 12th house axis, is the moment of pause, which sustains and presages change. Alert, readiness to act, or distress at not knowing what's ahead. With Jupiter in the north node of the moon in your 12th house, you may be seeking to understand things from a spiritual perspective. Help in the form of teachers, clergy, hospital staff, or alternative healers might also be reaching out to lend a hand. If these quests for help have not been bearing fruit yet due to the Jupiter-Saturn square, which is exact right now, hold tight. Change does seem to be in the air, and that's evident both by the message of Saturn as well as the full Libra moon. This moon, which is pivotal, of course, to the lunar eclipse, is going to shine a light on your partnerships as well as your own being. So if you have felt that communications or learning have been blocked in some fashion, and you've been kind of, stewing on what to do about that, the 3-degree Libra moon has a message for you. The dawn of a new day reveals everything changed. Periods of silence and darkness can be transforming, leading to stirring revelations. So whatever was unclear to you before will likely be revealed during this eclipse. This could involve that sauntering cowboy, a health issue you've been grappling with, or classes you've been taking so you can find meaningful work in order to be of service to the world. Whatever it is that's going down for you, Saturn does seem to be pivotal in the process right now, along with that full Libra moon. You are about to learn a lot about relationships in your life. This will likely also teach you a lot about yourself, especially in regards to how your own mind works. Are you living up to your own truth? Is the way that you're thinking about the important things in your life supportive, or do you need to change negative thought patterns? Restructure your thoughts and see if that has a positive outcome on your everyday world, partnerships, or even health. Saturn in the third house wants you to dig deeply for the truth of things, and more often than not, we are the ones that hold our own selves back. And I know I've been guilty of that myself more than once. And here's just one example. For the longest time, I had an absolute belief that I couldn't do math. Partly it was from a high school teacher that I didn't really care for, and partly it was just in my own brain. And so when I went to college, I didn't take any math classes. I just kept myself back from all of that because I was so sure I couldn't do it. Well, a while back, I went back to school, and lo and behold, I had to take algebra. Well, I was nervous as all get out. And guess what, though? I did it. And not only did I do it, but I did it really well. Then the next thing I did was I took chemistry, and that really freaked me out because then you have to apply the algebra to the chemistry in order to make all the equations work, right? Well, I absolutely went into that class shaking, afraid that it wasn't going to work. And what I actually learned was I loved chemistry. I loved everything about it. I loved the symmetry of it. I loved the beauty of it. I walked away thinking what an amazing chemist the universe was, the way all the perfect balance and harmony and all the equations. And I did really well at it. And yet all this time I had been telling myself that I couldn't do either. So I'd been telling myself some lies for a long time. So anyhow, with Saturn in your third house, you're meant to investigate your thought patterns and see if you've been telling yourself the truth. So these are just some of the revelations that you might encounter this eclipse season. Now, for a few of you, you're going to recognize the need to develop a positive mental attitude so you can overcome an illness. And some of you probably are facing illnesses right now. Others will need to reach out to helpers to hurdle whatever stumbling blocks you're coming across. Over time, you may also realize that something that you've been looking at in your life like an absolute thorn is actually a gift. Here's the example. The kid that falls off the horse and breaks his leg, thinking it's a total disaster, only to find out that it is his mangled femur that keeps him from getting conscripted into a war. Okay, that's sometimes what spiritual thinking can do for you. It enables you to shed a light onto a different way of thinking of things. Now, if it does turn out to be the actual cowboy, well, I do want to hear about that one. The reason I think cowboy is your seventh house is in Aries, and so I think cowboy, I think fireman, police officer, rock climber, somebody with a lot of fire and oomph in their nature. And I'll tell you, it wouldn't be the first time that I saw a man saunter into somebody's life when the sun appeared in the seventh house. And that is happening for you during this eclipse. And that sun's very close to Mercury. So again, he's going to speak his mind, whatever person this is. So anyhow, if a cowboy does show up, have fun with that. Along the way, be sure to share what's on your mind and in your heart as well. For you, Libra Rising, this is the season of learning to communicate your truth. All right, that being said, if any of you are facing any big ordeals in your life and you feel like you need a little bit of extra help with some astrological counseling, I am running my special until March 1, $50 for a 1-hour reading. And I'd love to hear from you. My contact information is at the front of the video. Also, please share with me what's going on in your life. I know these eclipses are big deals, right? They tend to be game changers for us for 6 months to a year. So let me know if this forecast helped you, if it put you on the right track, if it rang true. Love to hear from you. And if it is helpful, please give me a thumbs up, share with friends, and subscribe to my channel. Peace and blessings. Take good care and have a wonderful March.